Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an episode of Why It's Great, where we dissect the movies we love and talk about all the interesting analogies and symbolism and everything. It's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna blow your mind! Today we're going to talk about Disney Pixar's Up. It's one of my favorite movies, and it's a movie where all the symbolisms are very easy to follow. So here's why Up is great. So, what is Up about? Up is about an old man who ties thousands and thousands of balloons to his house so that he could go to a place of his dreams. That's a description you'll see in Wikipedia or IMDb, the back of your DVD. You're not gonna really know what it's about until you've watched it. Now, Up deals with a whole range of themes, but the one we're going to talk about today is the theme of baggage. And what baggage means is that a person has a past or regrets that they carry for the rest of their lives. In this case, Carl carries literally a house on his back, a house of his past. Now, Pixar is really clever in their use of themes. And in this one in particular, we're going to talk about three things. Their uses of shapes, their uses of promises, and their use of literally baggage, something they carry like the house on his back. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is their uses of shapes. And it's a really simple thing, but I'm going to show you why. It's really clear they're trying to say something with their uses of it. So if you've ever watched Up, you know that Carl is a grumpy old man. It's the expression of "don't be a square, you're boring." And that's exactly what it's trying to say here, because everyone significant around him is Circle. Representing Circle is always changing, Circle has no sides, whatever. And you saw the uses of Circle is first seen in his wife Ellie and soon to be his wacky sidekick Russell.
Good afternoon. My name is Russell, and I am a wilderness explorer in Tribe 54, Sweat Lodge 12. Are you in need of any assistance today, sir?
No.
Now, if you're not convinced, pay attention to all the pictures around Carl's house. All the pictures of his wife are circular, and all the pictures that's including him is square. And you might be saying, "Well, Felipe, that's a coincidence. I don't believe you." Guess what? Look at this! Side by side, it's circular and square. Come on, the evidence is all right there. And look at this really important part of the movie. When Carl finally lifts his own home, there's Steve from Blue's Clues and Ash Ketchum, representing that you just gotta catch them all. The second thing we're going to talk about is promises, and you'll realize that Carl Fredricksen never breaks his promises. So Carl crosses his heart 3 times in this movie, and you realize that he never broke any of them. The first time is when Ellie asked not to show anyone his adventure book, which he didn't.
You will not tell anyone. Cross your heart. Do it.
Ellie introduces Carl to a land lost in time. Now I want you to remember lost in time, because that's going to be really important later. Second time is where Ellie asks Carl to take them to the Paradise Falls, where he does.
Cross it! Cross your heart!
And the third time is the most interesting part, and here's why. Russell made him promise to return Kevin safely. But guess what? Carl never crosses his heart. And that's why later on in the movie, you'll see Carl abandon Kevin for his house.
Promise you won't leave him?
Yeah.
Cross your heart?
After a moment of sulking, Carl crosses his heart. And guess what he does after? He keeps to his promise. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is the literal use of baggage and the stuff they're carrying, which for Carl is his house. But if you haven't noticed, Russell is also carrying his backpack throughout this movie. A backpack where it's literally his size. And you'd realize he's also carrying something heavy in his heart. And this is the similarity of these two characters, where they'd rather hold on to everything they hold near and dear and ignore everything that's happening to them. Like in this scene where they're in a risk of dying but they don't care. Because all they're worried about are their things, and which in this case is their past. And this is the coolest part of the movie. The part where Carl tries to go after Russell and he realizes his baggage is a little too heavy. He lets go of everything in his house, lightening his load, but guess what? The seats are there. His and his wife's seats over Paradise Falls. A land lost in time. His memories will always be with him, and now him and his wife are timeless. But that's not all. This is my opinion the best part of the movie. The moment where Carl chooses the boy, the bird, and the dog over his house. So the moment where he literally lets go, he gains all the things that's in his future. And if you think that's a coincidence, guess what goes with the house? This guy! So the moment where he lets go of everything in his past, he makes a better future for him and all the things around him that he loves.
You are my master! Oh boy! Oh boy!
There's so many other interesting things in this movie. Now remember guys, everything that I've talked about is my own interpretation, which means they might be true or not. So if you have your own interpretations, please let me know down in the comments below. Now Pixar is the master of using symbolism and analogies to get a bigger point across in a really silly looking family movie. Now if you'd like to analyze another Pixar movie of your own, I really recommend WALL-E, Ratatouille, and the original Monsters, Inc. Those are the 3 Pixar movies I find with the most symbolism and depth to them. Of course, most of the other Pixar movies have them as well, but that's for you to find out why it's great. I'm Felipe, and I'll see you next time.